pleasure to be speaking with you both. I'm a big fan of the show. I've started watching the new season.
Great.
Can't wait to see where it goes. But wanted to ask both of you, because you have a bonding moment in this new season, kind of over being outsiders, forging your own path in Palm Beach. I'm wondering, can either of you pinpoint a moment in your career where you maybe felt that was especially true for you, and how were you able to move through it?
I think being on the journey of an artist can be lonely sometimes. So it's definitely has its parallels with being an outsider versus an insider. Especially, I come from the South. Not a lot of people. I'm from a very small town in Texas. Not a lot of people do what I do, and so forging this path for myself has always been kind of like, okay, girl, like.
Good luck.
Exactly. Oh, that's hard. I'm like, well, this is what God said, So in that right, I understand being an outsider, coming from a very small town with a big old dream like this is can be isolating.
Well, and for me, I got discovered by Norman Lear at my high school at 13 and got plunked into, he wrote this part of Natalie for me in his new show called The Facts of Life. And so I talk about imposter syndrome at the age of 13. Because I did not do a Pampers commercial when I was 6 months old, I was very out of my depth. And gratefully, I had a cast, especially Kim Fields, who took me under her wing at the ripe old age of 11 and said, this is what upstage is, Mindy. And when they say, left stage right, it's this way. And, but I had a really hard time. Like, one of these things is not like the other. For a good season and a half. Those first few weeks and months were really hard for me.
And, obviously this show, the cast is stacked, yourselves included, there are some pretty epic resumes across the board here. I'm curious if there's anyone that you if anyone you had a fan out moment over, or wanted to at least let them know that something they had done had really resonated with you.
Well,
Yes.
I remember season 1, the first scene I had with Allison Janney. She busts into the bookstore and she's cussing, and she's in real life, she's stumping. Allison is really tall, and, the cameras are going, and I forget that I'm acting, right? I'm like, oh, wow, how amazing. Just watching her act in real time is such a joy. I think for me, just watching these legends act in real time is such a masterclass. I'm learning so much just from observing. I forget that I'm acting half the time. I'm like, what's the line? My bad. Allison took me away with her, took my breath away. My bad. So that's the really exciting part for me.
Same. Mine is also a Janny story. I obviously was so tickled to meet Kristen. I was a huge Kristen Wiig fan and hadn't met her yet. But I was walking on set with her to my first scene with Allison, and I started to get overwhelmed. And Kristen was like, "Are you okay?" And I just said, I think I'm going to burst out crying. She goes, well, you can't do that. Do not do that. And I just remember hearing her voice for the first time on set. And I just went, oh, my God. She has been on my list of top 5 actresses I've wanted to work with for probably the past 20 years. So, yeah, my wish fulfillment, 100%.
I will say the same speaking with all of you today. So. And last question, just real quick, there are big events on this show, always kind of end with a side of murder, backstabbing, something bad goes wrong. Have you ever attended or hosted a party where things just went totally sideways?
Ooh, I feel like, in Hollywood, a lot of things it's always up in the air. You never know what you're going to see or what's going to happen. But any theater-themed party, whether it's college... especially in college for me, I saw a lot of things, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Great. Okay, it's time for me to grab my bags. Can someone call me an Uber? Weirdly exciting, I will say that.
And I will say I had a couple dinner parties going wrong. I'm very famous for my get-togethers and my dinner parties, but those first couple, and I just learned you can always order pizza.
Uh-huh.
Aha. That's an excellent lesson.
Yes.
Well, thank you both for your time today.
You.
Thank you.
And can't wait to watch the rest of the season.
Enjoy.